On your mark, get set. Let's go.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up?
Good morning, Kevin Durant. You should have left California.
This Brownsexual upset me in having to bring this teenage idiot from Wisconsin into a sports conversation. Are you really surprised the Cowboys are giving up on Ezekiel Elliott?
Whoa. Hell no! Well, no one cares about baseball.
Bitch, are you for real?
Get set and go. Good morning. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Snowman in the Morning, and I still don't have everything together, and I woke up early this morning. Hang tight. Gotta make sure the set is in place, and it now is. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Snowman in the Morning, everybody. Glad to have you all with us. We are presented in part by the Be Daring Foundation. Go to bedaringfoundation.org for more information. Working on a couple of great partnerships. We're also presented by Fanatics, where sports fans shop. Lots to get to, including a very significant injury to what was supposed to be the 49ers quarterback right now. And that, of course, is one Brock Purdy. He was injured Sunday in the NFC Championship loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. And again, congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles. That was my second team too in the NFC. That was my second team. All right. Let's get this party started with the Whip Around presented by SeatGeek. Luka Magic returns last night as Luka scores 53 points to help the Mavericks beat the Pistons 111-105. How far have the Detroit Pistons fallen? Good grief. How far have they fallen? As mentioned, Doncic scores 53 in his return to the lineup. According to USA Today, Bismack Biyombo recalls how owner Michael Jordan would go one-on-one with Charlotte Hornets players. Biyombo played in Charlotte twice during his 12-year career, and the Hornets were the last team Biyombo was on before he signed as a free agent with the Phoenix Suns on New Year's Day 2022. But he still has fond memories of his interactions with Charlotte owner and NBA icon Michael Jordan, who didn't hesitate taking on Hornets players even in his 50s. Biyombo talked about playing under Jordan prior to the Suns' Tuesday night game after the struggling Hornets against the struggling Hornets at the Footprint Center in Phoenix. Biyombo said he still has a strong relationship with the icon. Biyombo said, quote, he's always there to give advice to players and stuff. It's somebody I've always known it's somebody that I always know that I could reach out to if I needed any advice, whether you're there with the team or you're playing for another team. Jordan's presence has been known to make players from the high school level through NBA levels compete harder to impress him if he steps into their arena. I can share a couple of stories about that. All I have to mention to my buddy Victor in Chicago is Loyola at Brother Rice. A game Brother Rice won, but Jeffrey and Marcus Jordan were in the building, and so was everybody else. And as soon as Michael Jordan walked in and sat on the bottom row at the Crusader Coliseum, everybody turned and looked, including yours truly, when that man walked in. Talk about an influence. Take that, LeBron James. Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce will meet in the Super Bowl in 2 weeks' time. Meanwhile, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson absolutely loved Travis Kelce's trash-talking homage during AFC title celebration. It looks like Travis Kelce, Chiefs tight end, has a new fan in one of the more famous people on the planet. After Kelce channeled The Rock in his AFC Championship Trophy speech, the former WWE star turned Hollywood actor praised the tight end for his homage. When The Rock likes what you're cooking, you know you're doing your trash talk at an elite level. I'm sorry this morning. I'm a little fogged up, folks. I'm trying to get it together. Kelce threw around plenty of shade during Sunday's celebration, but certainly found a new admirer. On a tweet, Dwayne on a tweet, The Rock said, "Quote: My boy said what he said. I appreciate the venomous shut yo over the formal shut your. Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni." I love that. I absolutely love that. Now to complete this abbreviated version of the whip around. And let's go to the Fanatics Feedback Zone presented by Fanatics. The Bitter Truth Show is with us this morning. He says, let's talk about Purdy Mouth. We shall. We're going to do that a little later. Hawk TV is with us, telling us good morning. Good morning to you. This is going to make training camp very interesting, to say the least. And I hate that injury. I hate that injury for Brock Purdy. Good morning, all, says Victor from Chicago. Ryan McCoffey says, good morning, Snow Crew. Good morning to you, my friend. Bitter Truth says, if he beats out Lance in training camp, you have to trade Lance while he still has value. He's going to beat out Lance. Matter of fact, he's already beaten out Lance. In my opinion, he's already beaten out Lance with game experience. Bitter Truth again, you can't have Mr. Irrelevant beating out a guy you traded number 1 picks for. Well, unfortunately, that's the case. He already beat him. Ryan McCoffey, well, when you lose your best player, Cade Cunningham, for the season, things tend to go south pretty quickly. Ain't that the truth? Rod West is here, says, good morning, Snowman Shack. Good morning to you. Bitter Truth said, you have to get rid of him before training camp ends. I think that's going to happen. I think they're going to trade him and get the value back that they traded for and then some. And I wouldn't be surprised if a draft night trade happens. I would not be surprised. Why are you shaking your head at me, Hawk? You know, LeBron's influence is all over the league because everybody's friends now. I call that a bad influence. He's beaten Lance out in terms of experience, but Lance will not go down without a fight. If he's up, I say you trade Lance right now. Trade Lance, and you already got Purdy. Let him heal. You sign Jimmy Garoppolo to a 1 to 2 year deal. Problem solved. Because I don't see any value in keeping Trey Lance. I don't. I'm sorry. I am not impressed with Trey Lance. I wasn't impressed with him at North Dakota State. And as a Clevelander, Braun made good on his word. We'll back any accolades the rest of the world bestows on him. That's for you guys to decide. As a Clevelander, he got one hell of a stimulus package from Adam Silver because Adam Silver didn't have the stones to call him out. And still doesn't have the stones to call him out. As the popular lexicon goes, I said what I said. More from the Fanatics Feedback Zone as we await the arrival of my partner. Going to step aside for a break. And when we come back, the Hall of Fame has a new inductee. And also at the bottom of this hour, Darrell Owens from the LegacyMaker Sports Network will join. And at the bottom of hour 2, I will welcome Bill Schoening, Texas Hall of Fame, Texas Radio Hall of Fame, voice of the San Antonio Spurs. So lots to update y'all on when y'all get back. This is Snowman in the Morning, back in a deuce.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
There's a 100% chance of a laugh thunderstorm. 4 men with different viewpoints take a movie, show, or documentary and review it uncensored, unfiltered, uncompromised, with no holds barred. Join BS3, Wilkes, King Doc, and H-Rap B as they take on Hollywood their own way. BS3 Network proudly presents The Forecast, where H-Rap B always predicts,
if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
live every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
The original Think Drink is back. Level up with proven ingredients formulated to crush your competition. No gimmicks, no jitters, no messing around. Just high potency results that keep you moving day or night. There's a new nerd in town, and we came to play. Nerd Focus. Smarter than energy.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, maybe even ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. That's when I found this, the Brux Night Guard. Now, the Brux Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brux Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Go to BruxNightGuard.com and order yours today.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the High Five Strangers guy. Game-winning interception. First down. Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
'Cause we take this job so serious.
What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson.
What in the all types of blue hell? I'm sorry. It's a Tuesday morning, and we are joined by Bitter Truth Show, Hawk TV, Ryan McCoffey in the fan chat. I made a comment about LeBron before the break, and Bitter Truth says, "Hey, we got the trophy. Go do what y'all do. Munch his popcorn." Yeah, we did. And we smacked LeBron twice in the following years. Made good with Cleveland. I just wish he stayed. No, you don't. He needed to go. He wrecked that house twice. Imagine if the Niners suckered the Finns to take Trey Lance. That'd be a hell of a deal. Bitter Truth says, I think Brady's going to Miami. I don't particularly care. I don't. In all honesty, Tua should retire. Yep, I said that after he rushed back from the concussion that he had in Cincinnati. Tua should walk away right now. Guarantee his contract so the young man can live, yes, but he should walk away right now. The NFL needs to do something about that. Miami said this weekend they're not going to pursue Brady. Good. I hope no one does. I'm hoping that McDaniels is stupid enough to sign Mayfield. I love seeing those two fail. To see them do it together, I'd have to change my undies. You know what? That would be fun to see. To see them fall by the wayside, you know? I didn't say that. I just said they weren't going to pursue Brady. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to pursue Lamar, but they have their cat tied up in Tyreek and Chubb. They can't pursue anybody because of that. They can't pursue anybody because of that. The simple fact that he had cradling should have been enough for him to hang it up. You have to save people from themselves. Very true. The Dolphins and the NFL should have stepped in after that concussion. Did you see the way Tua's fingers were bent when he hit the ground? Did you see the way his fingers were bent? That should tell you everything you need to know right there. That should tell you, hey, gotta walk away. Gots to walk away. I mean, there's nothing else. There's nothing else for me to say. You gotta walk away, and you gotta walk away now. You gotta walk away. You gotta walk away now. They just might have to go after Lance because of the cap space. Yep. And surrender the draft picks while they're at it. Because Miami needs a quarterback because it's not Tua. Tua is not healthy. Tua is not healthy. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Tua should walk away right now. And why he should walk away? Do you really want him to suffer another concussion and be paralyzed for the remainder of his life? You know how bad that would be? That would be awful. And Tua's had problems since Alabama. Remember the hip injury he suffered, I believe, against South Carolina? The 49ers don't need anyone per se, so I could see them wanting a second round and a few low rounders. I can see that too. I absolutely can see that. Here's a question. Here's my question of the day. Let's talk about it. Should the Miami Dolphins trade for Trey Lance? NFL announced yesterday that the cap would go up to $224.8 million. That might influence the Dolphins to go for Trey Lance. That should that should help. That should influence. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm sorry about that. That should influence the Dolphins to go after a quarterback, go after Trey Lance. But here's my second question. While I'm talking quarterbacks with the chat, where does Lamar Jackson go? Who pursues Lamar Jackson? Is there any team that wants him? That's my question. Is there any team that wants him? Is there any team that's willing to take a chance on him? Should be the question. Is there any team that will take a chance on Lamar Jackson, given the fact that I've said several times, and those of you who really watch football can see it, Lamar Jackson has regressed. He has totally regressed, and a lot of that is the fault of one Greg. I'm really fogging out this morning, and I'm sorry about that. Greg Roman. There we go. That was the name I was searching my head for. Thank you, Ryan. Greg Roman. Why was I thinking Greg Norman? I am sorry this morning, folks. I'm getting it together. Speaking of getting it together, family and I are getting some things together, but we need your help. I'll leave this up until the break. If you all would be so kind as to donate to our GoFundMe, that would totally be appreciated, because there's a lot that we need to get together. I'll tell that part of the story after the break. But where does Lamar go? My thought is that the team that would go after him the hardest would be the Washington Redskins. They could sneak in and come with an over-the-top deal for Lamar, because what you could expect Baltimore to do is to franchise him. You see it. They don't want to commit to Lamar Jackson long term because of the results that have happened since 2020. Hell, you could say after the Tennessee divisional round playoff game in 2019. But since 2020, and I'm going to ask a very tough question for Ravens fans. Since 2020, what has Lamar Jackson done for the Baltimore Ravens? I'll answer that with this opinion. Not a doggone thing. Hate saying it that way, but if you really go back and look at the footage and look at the games, he hasn't been as big of an influence as he was in 2019 when he won a unanimous MVP award. He really hasn't. Like I said, I hate saying it like that. I really do. I really hate saying it like that. But facts are facts. Look at the games. Look at his performance or performances. And on top of that, there are times he can't stay on the field. Now, I've had people, come after me saying, you don't know what you're talking about with Lamar. Yes, I do. Has he really had that much of an influence? Has he really had that much of an influence since 2019 when he won the unanimous MVP for his legs, for his rushing? He didn't win it because of his passing. I know he's trying to get better in the pocket, but he's bailed out more times than he stayed in the pocket. He has bailed out more. He has bailed out and took off running more times than people would care to admit. Drop a cash app to your homie Snowman, Tallman, Dr. K50, or to host Cole Johnson, or both of us as we try to grow this show. 26 after the hour, talking Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson, as a passer, and I'm going to say this plainly, and I have said this plainly, Lamar's not good. Lamar is not good. Fundamentally, he's not sound. And I know he's played baseball, but I want y'all to think about this when it comes to Lamar Jackson. Have you seen how many times he has sidearmed the ball? Is that his natural motion? Because I figure, like a pitcher, you only throw sidearm when you need to. Ryan McCarthy in the comments. That was my biggest concern about Lamar. He can't stay on the field, which is why I hope the Jets stay away from signing him in free agency. Absolutely. Absolutely. Bitter Truth computer froze up, but I can see Arizona trading Murray to Baltimore if Jackson refuses to play. Here's the question I have with that, and here's the problem I have with that. What if Kyler Murray refuses to play? A Pizzle 90, what's going on, Snowman? Hey, what's going on, A Pizzle? Hey, Pizzle, I may need a tremendous favor from you, bro. Bitter Truth again, and these guys refuse to slide. Yes. Jackson sucks as a passer. He does. I'll throw the question out again. I will throw the question again. Is the sidearm throw, it kind of reminds you, does Lamar Jackson's throwing motion remind you of Vince Young and the way he used to sidearm everything? Does it remind you a little bit? Does it remind you a little bit of Vince Young? Bitter truth, and now he's steadily getting hurt like Murray and Tua. Yep. Boy, the chat is lit up this morning, and I thank you guys for hanging out with me today. The Jets are going after Carr if they're smart, which prompts this. I think the Jets will wind up with either Carr or Rodgers. They're going after both. Which one will they land is the question. I'm comparing Lamar to Vince Young in terms of throwing motion. Because it seems to me, and I may have looked at this wrong, I may totally be off, but it seems to me Lamar Jackson's throwing motion should be more over the top than sidearm. Am I looking at that wrong? Hawk TV, if Lamar goes to Tennessee, what are you doing with Malik Willis? Nothing. You don't do nothing with Malik Willis. Unless you get a boatload of draft picks. Bitter truth, Rodgers to the Dolphins? I doubt it. Jimmy G to Carolina? I doubt that. I think he's going to stay another year in San Francisco. I really believe that, especially with the quarterback quandary they're in right now with Brock Purdy being hurt. But I said about Brock Purdy, you trade Trey Lance for a boatload of picks, you sign Purdy long-term, and you sign Jimmy G for a couple of more years. Problem solved. Because the players they're trying to sign this offseason, besides Garoppolo, Christian McCaffrey, and Nick Bosa. Those are the players they're trying to sign right now. And they're going to lose a couple in free agency like Jimmy Ward or Mike McGlinchey and players like that. There's a possibility they could lose Mike McGlinchey. So you trade Trey Lance for a few draft picks, you can go lower in the draft and find yourself a right tackle. Because McGlinchey and that line has been absolutely terrific. McGlinchey in that line has been terrific. 31 after the hour. We're due for a break and a few IDs. So when we get back, Darrell Owens of the LegacyMaker Sports Network will join. And on top of that, I'm going to try to get the casual highlight man himself, Al High, onto the program. This is Snowman in the Morning. Back in the deuce.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free and will even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
That's why we here on this platform.
Marriage, a loving splendor, a daily grind. Such is the case when Damien and Jamie get together and chop it up, for marriage is real.
Let's just lay it all out here. Let's just be real with it.
Join this wonderful couple who keeps it real and always in love. BS3 Network proudly presents Marriage is Real, where love is the only thing that matters. Live every Tuesday at 8:30 Central. Oh, and Jamie has something to say.
Deuces and trays.
This is Snowman in the morning.
There's a 100% chance of a laugh thunderstorm. 4 men with different viewpoints take a movie, show, or documentary and review it uncensored, unfiltered, uncompromised, with no holds barred. Join BS3, Wilkes, King Dog, and H-Rap B as they take on Hollywood their own way. BS3 Network proudly presents The Forecast, where H-Rap B always predicts,
if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
live every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
The original Think Drink is back. Level up with proven ingredients formulated to crush your competition. No gimmicks, no jitters, no messing around. Just high-potency results that keep you moving day or night. There's a new nerd in town, and we came to play. Nerd Focus. Smarter than energy.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, maybe even ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. That's when I found this, the Brooks Night Guard. Now, the Brooks Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brooks Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Go to brooksnightguard.com and order yours today.
See, cause we take this job so serious.
The f is that? Sorry, pardon me. My apologies.
What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson.
And to think that happened live. It did. And to think that that happened live on the air. Welcome back. Chat has been lit up. Hey, Pizzle. Oh, no, Rogers wouldn't come here. That's true. Hey, Pizzle, I want to get you on the program, my friend, so we can talk Dolphins. And I also will make an open offer to anyone in the chat that wants to cover their team for Snowman Multimedia. Put a one in the chat along with the team that you want to cover. Yeah, I did it. And I'm building my network, but I'm taking very unconventional ways to do so. Bitter truth. Malik can ride that bench. He ain't nowhere close to being ready. Truth. Very true. Plus, he can learn from Jackson. We were talking about Lamar Jackson prior to the break, and I have the casual highlight man himself, Al High, coming on here at the top of the next hour. That has just been confirmed. The Hawk TV, y'all do know Willis was a rookie last year, right? Yep. That was drafted in the 3rd round, I believe. Yeah. I'll make an open offer to anyone in the chat or anyone that's tuning in right now audibly via TuneIn. If you want to cover your team for my network, for our network, because Cole's a big part of this, give me a one in the chat along with your team, or hit me with a direct message. I'd love to have you, because draft night, I want to do something so special. I want to do something so special and have that really kick off my football coverage for next season. I want to do that. Okay. All right, Bitter Truth. We will talk. He says Browns. I can dig it. I can dig it. Speaking of football, I get to tease this guy. He is the man in charge of the LegacyMaker Sports Network. He has some great programs there, including Legacy on Fire, which I have been a part of and will be a part of again. He's also one hell of a photographer. And if you've seen his pictures of him taking pictures of Redskins games and Washington Bullets games, you'll see why I give him that much praise. This, my friends, is Darrell Owens, the man in charge of the LegacyMaker Sports Network. Good morning, my friend.
What's up, Snowman? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
You know,
look at you getting fancy. Got the microphone in front of you now with the filter, and now now I say this jokingly. Now he's learning from me, and he's popped the headset on the over the ear headset.
Yeah, man. I had to get the sounding a little bit better, man.
Hey,
it was you know how this audio treated sometimes.
I told listen, if anybody gets it, you're talking to him.
Right.
All right. I mean, this is you're talking to a guy that started his play-by-play career doing tape delay stuff. So if anything I was taught, it was the sound. I was audibly taught how to do the sound, and now I'm learning a lot with the video, thanks to you, thanks to Cole, and many, many others, my friend.
Hey, man, like it's a process. We all know how this thing goes. Definitely a grind process. Just trying to figure it out. I think I learn something new every day. I'm almost 100% on that.
Same here. How old? DJ's what, 7 now?
7. DJ turned 7 in July, last July.
I can't believe he's 7 now, because I've seen him grow with the rest of your kids, and he's hanging on you. He's hanging on to your hip like glue, my friend. I love it.
I'm gonna tell you, man, that's my guy. I'm still working on him on the sports front. There's some things that we gotta get him there. He's playing basketball right now, so that's something that I think that he's starting to enjoy. I tried baseball with him. That didn't work out well at all. But basketball, he's been doing pretty decent so far, and he's getting a feel for it. He can shoot, so that's a good deal. I'm like, all right, at least he can shoot the ball, but just got to learn how to, hey, you're on offense, not defense right now. That's what we're learning. So
right. Absolutely. Darrell Owens of the LegacyMaker Sports Network joining me here this morning. All right, man. I will ask you the $64 million question, and I don't think you'll have an answer, but I'll ask it anyway. Is Aaron Rodgers staying put?
Man,
there's that deep I was looking for.
It's crazy, man, because I tell people, last year I kept telling people, like, he's not going anywhere. This is what I told him last year. I'm like, look, everybody was like, oh, he's leaving. Look, he's doing all of this because he wanted to stay.
Right.
I mean, if he really wanted to leave, he would have said straight up, I want out of here. He never said out loud, I want to be gone. He just wanted to figure out whatever he could do to stay there, because he wanted to control his own destiny.
Right.
Right now, he technically controls his own destiny. It does put the Packers in a bad spot, though. If he retires, I don't think it's too bad. But if they trade him, that's the only way they can kind of save a little bit of money. Because right now I think he's owed 60 plus this season coming up. There was talks of him, if deciding to stay, that he would do some type of contract adjustment, so that way they can try to sign some people, because to be honest with you, they won't be able to sign anybody with the way that contract is. They're over the cap right now.
Even though the cap is increasing.
Yeah, and I think they may have gave him a little bit of breathing room, but it ain't a lot. So if I had to be honest with you, I still think he's coming back. That's not the fan in me. I think that there was a part of me that thought, okay, he's definitely gonna be gone. He's still talking like he did last year. He hasn't said I want out. He's just staying optimistic. I don't think he wants to say anything that's going to put him in a compromising position, and then they're going to talk about it in the news media for the next 2 to 3 months before he makes a decision.
Right.
But I think he's going to stay. But if he leaves, I'm okay. I really am. I'm intrigued to see what the Jordan Love era will look like in Green Bay. He showed some glimpses in that Philly game, and I was like, I'm intrigued just a little bit. But I'll ride it out regardless.
Your thoughts on 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy and the success he's had before his injury, and can he get back in time for training camp?
I know they said 6 months. What are we at? Subtracted 3. So he might be right on the cusp. Probably just a couple of weeks before. They may gradually bring him along.
Mhm.
You guys have what I call a good problem. So you got a good problem on your hands here, where you got 3 quarterbacks that you can kind of make a decision on. We know what Jimmy G can do. He took you guys to a Super Bowl. Trey Lance is young and has tons of potential. Brock Purdy came in relief, third string quarterback, Mr. Irrelevant, and comes in there and does what? Oh, I don't know, just win 6-7 games in a row, lead a team to the NFC Championship game. I kind of was sad. I mean, because I hate to see it, the game in that way, because I felt like we're missing out on what that game could have been if he's healthy the whole time.
If he's healthy the entire time. Exactly. So I'm glad Philadelphia won, because in many ways I was pulling for both teams, because that's like my adopted NFC team, the Philadelphia Eagles. But at the same time, I'm kind of sad with all the injuries unraveling in the NFC Championship for San Francisco, and Brock Purdy being the chief injury. And once Brock Purdy went out, that game was done. Had some people watching it with me, including Jody, and everything unraveled after that. Speaking of unraveling, if there's a team in the offseason you see totally unraveling and having to start from ground zero, who's that team and why?
Ooh, man, that's a tough one. I don't know if they completely unravel. I've been saying this for about a year. Well, I said it this time last year, and I guess it all really depends on. But I really felt the Baltimore Ravens were a team that would be in that position, because they haven't solidified Lamar Jackson just yet. Right. And I've been saying since last year, I felt that they would take a step back. Yes, they made the playoffs, but even though they made the playoffs, it still felt like they took a step back.
Doesn't it feel like they're regressing?
Yeah,
in front of our eyes. Is it just me? But
no,
does it feel like they're taking, like you said, they're taking steps back? Because I said this earlier before I went to a break. Lamar Jackson has regressed, and the team has regressed with him.
Yeah. I feel like, the Greg Roman not being there anymore is a big step, because we all know that Lamar can throw in the pocket. But I think the way that offense was designed, we saw what Kaepernick did with that offense when he was in when Roman was in San Francisco.
Right.
And he got him to a Super Bowl. So it's just I think we know Lamar can throw, but I think he needs that pro style offense to kind of get him along. He needs a guy that can come in and be that guy. Offensive coordinator, if they want to truly see Lamar Jackson take his next step, because we know he can run,
yes,
and we know he can throw, but we just don't see enough of it. And the way that offense is run, your safety valve is the tight end, and that's why Mark Andrews is looking like a Hall of Famer, every year because of that reason. And don't want to take anything away from Mark Andrews, but that's my thing. When you look at it, and the more I look at it, that's the team that kind of. If Lamar doesn't come back, where are they going to go? If Lamar is not in there, what is that team going to look like next year?
Exactly.
That's been the team in my mind for like the last year that I said, man, I'm just not 100% sure. Like right off the bat.
Yeah.
I give my boys a close second, because if Aaron goes down, who knows? Or Aaron leaves, who knows where it bees from there. So
who knows what's going to happen? Here, I mentioned this also during the last segment. Does it seem to me that Lamar Jackson throws more sidearm than over the top? Because if you throw sidearm every time down, and I made the comparison to one Vince Young, who also had that same motion. When you throw sidearm, you get in trouble.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you throw let me change my sentence. If you throw sidearm often, you get in trouble. And Lamar Jackson has gotten in major trouble since 2019.
Yeah, but I think that's also a product of the offense he's been running, because it's always, and I hate to say it, almost feels like it's like you go back to pass, but you are thinking run no matter what. And when you get in that situation, you got to maneuver around in the pocket, and sometimes the Pat Mahomes sidearm, whatever, you see the sidearm because it's like, oh, I'm trying to make something happen out of no way.
Yep.
And that's the vibe that I got from it. So I think it has hurt his development on that front. I think that they could. I just really think he needs a pro style offense to really show his talents. And a lot of people started screaming, maybe Petrino will come and be the offensive coordinator in Baltimore. Maybe that could help him go. And I'm like, I don't know. But whatever they do, they need to start tailoring that offense around him throwing the football, because we know he can run if everything goes haywire. But to protect him, though, I mean, he's getting these injuries. Why? Because let's think about it. All these running quarterbacks, O-line having to run all the time, that takes a beating on your body. That's why I worry about people like Justin Fields. Justin Fields has all the talent in the world, and man, Chicago
and
as
no
much
line,
as
and no line in front of him.
Exactly, and
no line in front of him.
Yeah, for me, like I'm a Packers fan, as you know.
Yeah,
but I'm not how I feel about the Bears, but it's just like as a player and just what I think he could be, I'm afraid of what they could do to him if they don't figure that out, and so guys like that make me worried, because he's got the arm strength, he can throw the football, but unfortunately, you saw last year he had to run a ton. He didn't run that much when he was in Ohio State.
He's running for his life, and he ran for his life most of the year, which led to an injury that cost him a couple of weeks.
Right,
and there's no line in front of him. There's no front line in front of Lamar Jackson. And there's a couple of other teams that have absolutely no offensive line, and it's hurting their quarterback. And one of the other teams that don't have a line in front of their quarterback is Miami.
Yeah, man, that's rough, isn't it? During the year, I said there was two teams that I was like, if they make the playoffs, you got to be a little bit afraid of them. San Francisco was one. The other team was Miami. Miami runs, the kind of the same system, that San Francisco run. McDaniel coming from that tree.
Yeah.
And they had the potential to be great, I thought. They were 8-3 at one point. They were cooking, man. And then, Tua just so many hits, and the line they did him an injustice, man. It's just like we saw how good he could be when he's upright. And we've seen, just the mishandling of how they handled him the whole year. I mean, the three concussions, it's craziness, man. But Miami's definitely one of them.
Within 14 weeks, he suffered 3 concussions. Is it time for Tua to walk away?
I don't want him to, but it might be. Is one of those things where you start to worry about the man's health. Because, if it was one, you're like, all right, maybe he'll be fine. But, he had one, then he had like the second one in another, like right the week after. And then he had this one, in the Packers game, and he never came back, But I felt like after the first one, they should have gave him a couple of weeks to really heal. And he didn't get that. And so in any injury, if you go out there and try to play on it and it doesn't fully heal, this is the type of thing you're going to keep getting re-injured. And that's exactly what happened to him. And it's really unfortunate, because after all the stuff that happened in the offseason with him, and they're making fun of how he throws the ball and doesn't have enough air, he proved in those first few games that Tyreek Hill was going to be just fine. He proved that Jaden Waddle is just as good as as advertised.
Yep.
And unfortunately, because they couldn't do right by their quarterback, they got lucky and made the playoffs. I mean,
they did.
Real honest, they got lucky and made the playoffs.
They got totally lucky. Good morning, Wise. He's the Sucking My Mind podcast. He's down in Orlando, Florida, enjoying the show. Good morning to Vincent David Jackson, enjoying the show as well. And good morning to everyone. Talking with Darrell Owens of the LegacyMaker Sports Network here on the Tuesday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Okay, we're talking quarterbacks. We're talking lines and teams that have regressed. You follow the NFL as detailed as I. Ryan, this one, Mr. McCoffey, this is for you. And he's back, Wise is back home. I hope you had a safe drive, my man. Did the Breece Hall injury curtail the New York Jets season?
It didn't help. It didn't help because he definitely was like, the energy they had in their squad before he got hurt was like, yeah. But also, the eyesore of all eyesores is that quarterback position, man.
Yes.
And it's tough because when you look at that team as a whole, they're some teams, oh, you're this person away. I really feel that team's a quarterback away from being really good.
So
They got
who would be, my follow-up question, who's the man now? Who should they go after? Because the name that I've seen and heard tied to the Jets is Derek Carr. Does he take him over the top?
I heard Derek Carr. That's one name that I'm hearing. And then I'm also hearing Aaron Rodgers, but that's only because they brought Hackett in to be their OC. And so once again, another team potentially trying to, let's see if we can bring Aaron Rodgers in with Hackett. I don't, because hey, he was the offensive coordinator in his 2 MVP seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Carr would definitely give that team the leadership that they need. I know people give Carr a really bad rap,
right?
But it's tough because this guy just a year ago, led this Raiders team to the playoffs with the worst situations at hand.
Man,
a teammate that kills, gets in a terrible car accident, kills somebody. He had to fight through that. He had to deal with your head coach getting in trouble for racial whatever. And throughout that season, it was something else that happened, but it was like 3 or 4 things that happened during that season. And no matter what, he kept his head down and kept rolling, and he got those guys to the playoffs. And you know what? They gave Cincinnati all they can handle in that first round. They just came up short. So I ain't gonna lie to you. I had them this year. So, oh man, Raiders gonna come in there this year. They got Devontae.
And I thought they were gonna wreck shop in the
Man, I thought they lost so many games where they had the lead and then they gave it up late. Or like that Arizona game at the beginning of the season, they were up. They were up
20-0.
Yeah, it was up 20-0, and then they lost the game.
And they lost the game, and they wind up losing the game in overtime.
And they end up losing the game in overtime.
They wind up losing the game in overtime. Speaking of quarterback situations, and team that needs a quarterback, Denver comes to mind, but then Russell Wilson is there, the Denver Broncos are stuck with Russell Wilson.
And that's crazy that you had to say that out. When you say that out loud, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
From a guy who has been a Super Bowl champion. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's been an All-Pro. And in most people's eyes, he's a constant professional. You see him and he's out there. He's like, this is Russell Wilson. This is great for them.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think they messed up at really was they brought in a coach in the beginning that wasn't ready to be a coach. And I think they kind of gave him some privileges he probably shouldn't even have as a quarterback. They gave him his own office. I'm like, why? It seems like a disconnect from the team. But the teammates did, and the teammates did kind of have his back towards the end of the season. So I think there's still
not the entire season. And
not the entire season.
Look, they gave him his own office, and that team imploded.
Right. And
right
I think
in there.
And see, that's the thing. I think that it took all season to kind of get where they needed to be. But they didn't start supporting him until after Hackett left. Right. So that kind of gives me the fact that maybe Hackett was the problem. The moment that Hackett said, "Man, I need somebody to kind of help me coach on this," like he had to hire like a sideline assistant or something like that. I said, "This ain't gonna work." So I don't want to bury Russell Wilson just yet because it's obviously still there somewhere.
Yeah,
he just has to have the right guy there to help lead him. And so if now this year comes up and we're getting the same results, they're definitely stuck with him after that.
Yes,
I'm chalking this one up to just a bad coaching situation overall, and then hopefully next year for Denver fans that they'll get the Russell Wilson that they signed $200 million for.
And Bitter Truth says this: they did this to themselves. Why would you pay a 10-year running quarterback coming off of a horrible year that much money? Not to mention the draft picks.
Yep,
dumb move.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then Seattle makes the playoffs. So it makes Seattle look like geniuses in the situation. But I still think he has a chance to be maybe not Russell from 3 or 4 years ago, but I still think he can be a really good quarterback in this league. It really depends on who is going to be the guy that can come in and maybe pull the best out of Russell.
Yes.
I'm not going to bury him just yet. Now, next year come, and those first 4 or 5 games start to look like we saw most of this year, it may be time. It
may be time. A couple more. And Jody, baby, this one's for you. What are the Indianapolis Colts doing?
I don't know.
What?
Oh my goodness! I don't know.
Listen, I've had people ask me. I've had people in the chat ask me, "Has Jody gone down and kicked the doors down to Lucas Oil Stadium?" I said no, but I'm driving the car when she does.
Yeah. I look at this Indianapolis team, and on paper going into last season, I had them winning the division. I'm like, oh yeah, they're going to win the division. You got.
I had them winning that division going away.
Yeah, I mean, like, oh man, they're going to win this division about 3 or 4 games. You know, Matt Ryan is there. He's going to have an offensive line, like what he didn't have in Atlanta for a couple of years. I'm like, this is going to be great.
But then
it just fell apart.
They tied the Houston Texans in week 1.
Yeah.
And after that game right there, even though they get an overtime win in Denver, they imploded.
Yeah. It was rough.
Somebody pushed the plunger and they imploded. They need 2 key things. They need a quarterback, and they got to get some receivers. Thank you, Remy Yates, for that. They got to get some hands.
Yeah, I think they've got people that could be great, but I think I think the receivers are not miserable. Like right. Pittman has their chances. They got Jelani Woods out of Virginia. That tight end is going to be him and Mo Alley Cox together could be really good together. They just need that leadership. Now, I will say this. Watch out for Derek Carr to Indianapolis. And they brought in Richie. I can't say his last name, but the Green Bay Packers special teams coach to do an interview. And as soon as I saw that, I said, okay, they're thinking about bringing Derek Carr in. And I think they saw what him and Derek Carr did together in Vegas. When they made that playoff run last year, and we all know. The coach of the Raiders should have been Richie. But I'm not gonna say his last name. Richie B. We're gonna call him Richie B. Bisaccia. So he should have been the head coach of that team, not Josh McDaniels.
Going forward, yes.
Yeah, he got done a disservice. And I think if you listen to how the players talked about him after the season was over, they loved him. They loved him. Yep. So I think watch out for him. I think he'll be the guy. If he's the guy, Derek Carr is going to Indianapolis. So that's just what I see on that.
Oh, man, that's Darrell Owens, the man in charge of the LegacyMaker Sports Network, joining me this morning, talking football, talking offseason moves. And, man, I love talking football with you, my friend. I love
it too, man. I love it too, man. It was good. It was good to be on. I know we've been talking about it for a while. It's been running like a track star, and I'm getting ready for the Super Bowl next week. So it's been crazy.
Look, I'm getting ready for it also.
Yeah,
I'm getting ready for it also. Check out the LegacyMaker Sports Network, our sister network at Snowman Multimedia, as we both will provide some award-winning Super Bowl coverage that will begin next Monday. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. I love you. Let's do it again soon.
Anytime, brother. You take care of yourself.
Thank you. Hour 2 begins right about now. Time for hour 2 of this spectacular. Ryan McCoffey now joins us this morning.
That's what you need to do to beat Josh Allen. You need to make him uncomfortable.
Hour 2, time for some Spivey notes. And here's Jay.
Well, I know he's only in his 3rd year, but they're just wasting Justin Herbert.
Hour 2.
The hardest working content creator I know, the Playmaker.
Hey, LeBron James, the greatest scorer of all time. Hey.
Hour 2.
The one, the only Christopher Dietz.
They rewarded Ohio State for not playing, and they punished USC for playing.
Hour 2. Sam Shady.
Oh, man. It's been a roller coaster ride if you were a Philadelphia Stars fan.
Hour 2. That's Big Ben, the man in charge of the BS3 network.
And if I see Kurt 2 Chainz Cousins out.
Hour 2, Chris Bay's joining us.
Oh my God! Oh, this game! Oh, way to go, Sammy!
Hour 2, was El.
Oh man, I thought I missed it.
What in the all types of blue hell?
Time for hour 2 of this spectacular, and it starts right now. Hour 2 is underway. And welcome back to the program. Snowman here with you. I believe Cole Johnson is drowning in work right now. Al High from Casual Highlights will join us in about 120 seconds. Ryan McCoffey in the Fanatics feedback zone. Rich Bisaccia should have been the Raiders head coach. 2022 would have been a much different result. Let me pose a question to Ryan and the chat. If Rich Bisaccia was the Raiders head coach this past season, would they have made the playoffs? More to the point, would they have won the division? McCoffey again. Indy was the consensus pick to win the AFC South. What a dumpster fire of a season that was. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Drew Willingham in the house. Good to see you. I have Drew at 105 for the Sports Senseis. He had Drew had an assignment yesterday, but we will see him at 105 today. Seattle was recouping the draft picks they lost to the Jets in the Jamal Adams deal. Yep, absolutely. Remy Yates, Aaron Rodgers would potentially fit the Jets, but I think Wentz could be had really cheap. I wouldn't be surprised they go after Carson Wentz. When the offense was centered on the run, he was an above-average game manager. It works for the system based on the run with a healthy Hall. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely right. Hog TV to my Raiders question, no, but definitely make the playoffs. Agreed. What's next for the Raiders going forward? Because Derek Carr is out of there. Ryan McCarthy. No. Wait. Let me do this right. Let me do this. Let me do this right. Basically, what Ryan McCarthy just said to me about Carson Wentz coming to the Jets was
Hell no.
As a matter of fact, let me find it. He coupled it with
No.
And even though I don't smoke, I never have smoked. McCarthy basically told me,
Stay off the weed.
I hope you enjoyed that one, Ryan. That one's definitely for you. But does Carson Wentz get picked up by anybody? Let me ask that. BS3 Network, good morning, and good morning to you. The Raiders are losing Jacobs too. The Raiders are about to crash. That's right. There you go. Where does Josh Jacobs go? Carson Wentz is going to be a Panther. Oh, no. Oh, dear God. You know how bad that combination would be with that offensive line? You know how bad that's going to be? You don't let a guy, bitter truth again, you don't let a guy whose psyche has been shocked to throw it a lot. Again, oh, Lordy. So we got, where does Lamar go? Where does Carson Wentz? Does Carson Wentz get picked up by anybody?
No.
And if so, who picks him up? How about some casual highlights now? Here's Big Al joining me this morning. What's up, Al?
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing very well, brother. Thank you for having me on the show.
How about those Chiefs?
Hold on, man. I should have put that hat on this morning, man.
How about those Chiefs?
Man, so excited, man. It's exciting for them. I think I'm more excited about this Super Bowl run than the first one.
Yeah.
I'm just excited about it just because everybody was talking about the Denver Broncos and the Chargers and the Raiders.
And nobody gave credit to the Chiefs.
Nobody. Everybody, Tyreek is not there. You know, what are you all are going to do? And I actually went to a training camp this year just to go see for myself what they were doing.
Right.
And business as usual.
Mm-hmm.
And they put their heads down quietly, 1-0, 2-0. Lost a tough one at the Colts.
Yes.
But man, it was business as usual this year, man. And just to see it now all come to fruition, I said, and then I was a little we played two tough playoff games. At a Jacksonville game, I knew that was going to be a very physical game because Jacksonville is very physical. And I got to give the Bengals their flowers. That Bengals defense showed up and kept them in the game. And then we were down several receivers. So with that being said, man, this was a well-earned victory to get into Super Bowl 57. So
agreed. Now, speaking of Chiefs and Bengals, do we have a new rivalry budding on the horizon? Mahomes versus Burrow?
Since now Mahomes got his victory, I think so. And I need the Bengals fans to shut the hell up and they talking all this cash money noise. And y'all ain't won no ring yet, homie. Matter of fact, the Chiefs right now currently have been to 4 Super Bowls and won 2 titles, and the Bengals are like what 0-3 all time.
0-2.
0-2.
And they lost to the same team both times.
Because they lost to
San Francisco
and the Rams last year. They lost to the Rams too.
Right. They are 0-3. They did lose to the Rams.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah. So I need y'all. What have y'all done? I mean, it did. Now I will say this: had Mahomes lost this game and been 0-4, and Burrow won the Super Bowl, it would not have been a rivalry.
Right.
And you can say what you want to say about the Chiefs, that you own the Chiefs. Okay. But it's about a rivalry right now. And if Mahomes get a second ring, it'll be like remember Brady versus Manning. And how long it took for Manning to finally get over that hump of Brady.
Yes. How about Jalen Hurts and what he's done for the Philadelphia Eagles this year?
I'm very proud of Jalen Hurts. I'm going to say the improvement. If you want a mobile quarterback, see, it's all about the mindset of the quarterback.
Yes.
The quarterback has to be able to go in the offseason, see what he needs to work on and improve. And Hurts has done that. I can say, I'm gonna say this right now. Hurts has ascended Lamar Jackson.
Agreed.
Has ascended him. Like Hurts has put in the work. You got wide receivers. Here's the other thing. You got wide receivers wanting to go play with Jalen Hurts.
Yes. Say that again.
You got wide receivers wanting to go play with Jalen Hurts. And I've been telling people, I said something not with Lamar Jackson, good player, but he hasn't gone to the next level. See, when you get drafted, you are drafted on potential. People be forgetting. When you get into relationships with people, we might want to marry you, we might want to be friendships, but we are doing stuff on potential. We give people trial runs of stuff. And Jalen Hurts from last year to this year, yeah, he's still a mobile quarterback, but this man has an arm now. This man knows when to make the throws, when it's time to do the read option, and he's gonna even get better after this season. Listen,
with the weapons they have now.
Yeah,
goodness, they're gonna get stronger.
Right, you got they got folks signing up. Hey, can we come play with Jalen? It's like it's certain teams you want to play with, and really now Jalen. If we look at the NFC, who's the elite quarterbacks in the NFC right now?
You don't have.
We haven't
seen any.
It's Jalen's world right now.
It's Jalen's world. It is. And the 2 running back system they have in Philadelphia, Miles Sanders and Boston Scott, use them absolutely brilliantly on Sunday in the NFC Championship.
Yeah, dominated from start to finish. I got to give credit to where credit is due with the 49ers and the job that Kyle Shanahan did. I didn't know who to pick till that Sunday morning.
Yes.
And I went with I picked the Eagles I did a show. I take that back. I did a show the day before, and I went with the Eagles versus the Chiefs. And I said if the first 1 to 21 was going to win the game.
Yes.
And because I felt like, hey, they got enough little bit of defense with the 49ers. But I got to give let me get back and give credit to Kyle Shanahan and that coaching staff for the job that they have done.
Yes.
And using Brock Purdy, a third string quarterback. Man, I just hope. I was telling people, I said I think Brock Purdy could be a starting quarterback in the league. But now, I know this setback with this elbow, man, it's going to be a setback. Man, the job Kyle Shanahan has done with an injured Jimmy Garoppolo, because he got that in the trade from New England, and we thought that was the guy.
Yep.
Then we get Trey Lance. The injury, the inconsistency with Trey Lance and his ankle. And then 49ers fan, hey, they was excited about Brock Purdy because you got a consistent quarterback. Doesn't have to do too much. And it's just that's the one piece the Niners are missing is that QB spot. But
if Purdy is healthy within 6 months, I believe he's their guy going forward.
Okay.
I believe Purdy is their guy going forward. There are 2 signings the 49ers are going to make that are going to be key for them to keep this core together. One on offense, one on defense. On offense, Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
And on defense, Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
And they're working to keep and sign both of them long term. How big of an influence and how big of a difference did Christian McCaffrey make for this 49er offense?
Man, they went from contender in the NFC West to contender in the NFC representing the Super Bowl. They were contender that one piece overnight.
And
it was like,
and they took off.
And Christian McCaffrey was a whole different Christian McCaffrey. We ain't hear nothing about, Christian McCaffrey always hurt every week in Carolina. And it was miserable out there. The way that stuff was ran from the end of Ron Rivera's tenure all the way up to Matt Rule.
Yes.
I'm still trying to figure out what the hell was going on.
I think we all were, man.
I'm like, what's going on in Carolina right now?
Right.
And now he comes to the other side, and we borderline. Hell, he could be borderline MVP. He was the most important piece of the 49ers puzzle.
The game against the Rams in Los Angeles, where he really got integrated into the offense because he played sparingly against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
In Santa Clara. But the game against the Rams, he threw a touchdown, caught a touchdown, and ran for a touchdown. That's the game that even the 49ers record at 4-4 and put the rest of the NFC on notice. Say Philadelphia, because Philadelphia was off doing their thing. But San Francisco, and I agree with you, give credit where credit is due. San Francisco, after losing to Atlanta and then losing to Kansas City, they came out of nowhere to win 10 in a row. They win the division by 4 games. By 4 full games.
Right.
They sweep the division. They get to the NFC Championship game. Man, there's nothing but good stuff going forward for Kyle Shanahan and his crew.
Yeah. Yeah. And they and also too, they draft well John Lynch. We got to give credit to him.
Yep.
The brain trust of him. The ownership of the 49ers. I'm not a 49ers fan, but I listen to people like yourself, Snowman, and a couple of coworkers of mine, and then research and look at the pieces, the coaching staff, DeMarco Ryan. Please don't take the Texans job. I know it's a hot topic.
It is. Stay in San Francisco.
Do what Ben Johnson and stay one more year. Sometimes
do what Eric Bieniemy is doing and stay put.
Right. Sometimes all money is not good money. I learned that a long time ago playing dominoes.
Will you preach that again, please? All money is not good money.
All job openings is not God, and it can be deceiving sometimes. That's a whole different that Houston Texans. Hey, we need to get AJ Jones on that one because AJ tell it like it is on that.
Listen, that's a conversation we're going to have at another time. But Al High joining us for the casual highlights. Tell everybody where they can find you, my friend.
Check me out. Instagram Al Highlights. That's last name HYGHLIGHTS. Check out my podcast, Casual Highlights. and on YouTube. That's Casual. How you spell casual? And then highlights, HYGHLIGHTS.
I love this man, and I love him coming on this morning. We got to do this more often, especially coming toward the draft. I'd love to have you as a guest during our draft coverage. Or hell, I'd love to have you as a guest during our Super Bowl coverage next week.
Hey, I'm gonna bring my Chiefs gear on if you invite me.
Bring
Doc.
it, bring it on, man. I want you to bring. I want you to bring it. I want you next week when we schedule. I want you in all Chiefs garb because we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about both teams, how they got to the Super Bowl, how they can win the Super Bowl. I want you on next week to talk some Chiefs.
All right, very well. Looking forward
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you.
All right, take care, bro.
Back in the deuce, got some more stuff from the Fanatics Feedback Zone, and then Bill Schoening, the voice of the San Antonio Spurs, will join me at the bottom of this hour. It's Snowman in the Morning, presented by the Be Daring Foundation. Back in the deuce.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
There's a 100% chance of a laugh thunderstorm. 4 men with different viewpoints take a movie, show, or documentary and review it uncensored, unfiltered, uncompromised, with no holds barred. Join BS3, Wilkes, King Dog, and H-Rap-B as they take on Hollywood their own way. BS3 Network proudly presents The Forecast, where H-Rap-B always predicts,
if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
live every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
The original Think Drink is back. Level up with proven ingredients formulated to crush your competition. No gimmicks, no jitters, no messing around. Just high potency results that keep you moving day or night. There's a new nerd in town, and we came to play. Nerd Focus. Smarter than energy.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, maybe even ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. That's when I found this, the Brooks Night Guard. Now, the Brooks Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brooks Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Go to BrooksNightGuard.com and order yours today.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the High Five Strangers guy. Game-winning interception. First down. Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extra berth. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free and will even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
'Cause we take this job so serious.
I'm sorry, I did that all wrong. I did that all wrong. My bad.
Do it right, will you?
Oh, God. Brother guest, I'm so glad, Ryan, that you here on Coffee with McCarthy. I love you.
Oh, Lord, you beat me to it. What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson.
Oh, my partner's a fool. My partner's a straight up fool, and I love him for that. And of course, Ryan McCarthy, we did an episode of Coffee with McCarthy, and Bruce Pritchard was introduced into the conversation. Dan Levely joining me here. Snowman, what's up? Finally got a day off to catch the show. Fly, Eagles, fly. I didn't get a chance to live out a promise that I made. Because the Eagles won, I owe y'all this.
Eagles fly, fly, Eagles fly, on the road to victory. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
I owed y'all that. I didn't get a chance to yesterday because I was on the road and I didn't get everything set up properly. CMC looked like Roger Craig on that scoring drive. That's why you traded for him for moments like that. And that's why we're going to sign him long term and keep him healthy. That's what Carolina couldn't do because they didn't have a doggone line. They didn't have a doggone line. Good grief. So Tyler Huntley was named to the Pro Bowl as a replacement for Josh Allen. What a time to... What? Listen, y'all. What is going on with the Pro Bowl? Matter of fact, what is going on with All-Star games in general, man? The hell is that? Pro Bowl games reimagined. Really? Really? Hawk TV, I guess there weren't any other quarterbacks out there, huh? I guess since he played in the playoffs, he's in. Plus he was the Panthers' only weapon. True. Very true. For years, they just wore him down into the ground. Well, San Francisco's not going to do that. They got too many doggone weapons. I'm looking forward to seeing what the 49ers do next year. Just like I'm looking forward to seeing what the Eagles do. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Eagles do, not only in the Super Bowl, but going forward. Not only in the Super Bowl, but going forward. Let me shout out 211 for the $5 cash app. Thank you. Man, if that punk Kelly didn't break up Eric Reed's team with LaShawn McCoy and DJ, we'd be up 2 Super Bowls, at least NFC championships. I agree with that. And, well, let me do it again. Since Tutriv is an Eagles fan, just like Dan Levely,
watch our Eagles fly, fly, Eagles fly, on the road to victory. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
It's for all my Eagles fans. Good luck in the Super Bowl in 2 weeks' time. We're going to cover everything right, left, up, down, and center from now until February 13th, the Monday after the Super Bowl. Eagles are going to win this as long as the refs stay out of the way. I agree with that. Their defensive line is ferocious and will chase Patty into exhaustion. I don't think Mahomes gets exhausted. And now he's got 2 weeks to heal. He's got 2 weeks to heal. He's got 2 weeks to heal. Shouldn't that frighten you? That Mahomes has 2 weeks to heal from that high ankle sprain, but I don't. Do y'all think Mahomes is going to be at full strength? I'm looking forward to seeing how much Kellen More ruins Justin Herbert. Man, Okay, there's what I can talk about before I bring on Bill Schoening. Kellen More is now the offensive coordinator of the San Diego Chargers. Yikes. Why? Dallas fired him. San Diego scooped him up. Once again, why? What the hell were they thinking? Why didn't they sign an offensive line? That Eagles D-line is ferocious. Absolutely. Eagles got to get a good push up the middle, and they're going to keep him contained. I agree with that. Why is El Jefe? That Eagles D-line is ferocious, to say the least. Hey, Wise, you got some time either Thursday or Friday to pop on the afternoon show? Speaking of football, we got a USFL interview coming to Snowman Multimedia Sports very, very soon. And Sam Shady just gave me the word. I can't wait to see it. And it'll be tonight. Sam, what time? It'll be tonight. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to plug it in. I think Mahomes will be 90% healthy for the Super Bowl. Do y'all think Mahomes will be the Patrick Mahomes when the Super Bowl gets here? There's my question. Do you think Patrick Mahomes will be at least 90%? Will he be the Patrick Mahomes that we all know come Super Bowl time? Maybe a Thursday. How about next Thursday? Because I'm trying to stay 2 weeks ahead of the game and planning my guest list for both shows. Something I learned from another dear friend of mine in Clark Monroe, and I hope to tape an interview with him either today or tomorrow. We'll get that together. 211. We knew when Sue lined up for the first time with Cox, it was over. Agreed. Bitter Truth says he's going to be at 70%. Wise says no, maybe 85%. What do you think? What do you think? Will Mahomes be the Mahomes that we all know going into the Super Bowl? There's a question for you. And how do you stop Mahomes? Easy answer. Bitter Truth says you send a right side blitz, Patty's in trouble. Yep. The Bengals had him running for his life, and they don't have the Eagles D-line talent. True. Very true. Very true. I'm in the process of lining up some guests for Thursday. I expect Wise to join me Thursday morning because we got to have some fun talking about Podfest down in Orlando, which is a place I'm going to be. Brandon Brooks, quarterback for the Houston Gamblers, will join Sam Shady and his crew tonight. You can watch it on his channel, the Shady Sports Network, and mine, Snowman Multimedia. I'm trying to find a video to send to a friend here. And here it is. I got it. Let me take care of this. Now, we're beginning our Super Bowl coverage. That Eagle secondary is also no joke. Ain't that the truth? Your best bet against the Eagles is to be a pocket quarterback with a 3 to 5 step drop. Get rid of the ball quickly. That's not the Chiefs' game. True. But are they going to develop that kind of pattern for the Super Bowl, or are they going to stick with what got them there? Here's your question, because if you remember a few years back, the Raiders had a game plan against the Buccaneers, and then they scrapped it at the last minute. And you saw what happened when they did. But here's my question. Is the running game going to play a part for both teams? Who's going to have the better running game? We'll leave it here. We'll take a break, and when we come back, Bill Schoening, the voice of the San Antonio Spurs, will join me. Back in a moment.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
There's a 100% chance of a laugh thunderstorm. Four men with different viewpoints take a movie, show, or documentary and review it uncensored, unfiltered, uncompromised, with no holds barred. Join BS3, Wilkes, King Doc, and H-Rap B as they take on Hollywood their own way. BS3 Network proudly presents The Forecast, where H-Rap B always predicts.
If I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
Live every Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure.
The original Think Drink is back. Level up with proven ingredients formulated to crush your competition. No gimmicks, no jitters, no messing around. Just high potency results that keep you moving day or night. There's a new nerd in town, and we came to play. Nerd Focus, smarter than energy.
'Cause we take this job so serious.
What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson.
Bottom of hour 2:34 after the hour. And I want to welcome someone who is one of my favorite broadcasters, one of my favorite guys, and a very dear friend, and also a Texas Sports Radio Hall of Famer. Those of you in San Antonio who listen to WOAI know him well as I do. This is Bill Schoening, the voice of the San Antonio Spurs, and he joins me right now. Good morning, my friend.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. How are you? Good to see you.
A little early in the morning for this late night guy, but I'm all right. We're ready to rock and roll. We're good.
Yeah, I love that old school shirt you have on. Because when I first got into when I first got into watching the Spurs, and they would be on the road in the Forum to play the Lakers, they had that script across the front of their jersey.
I love that they brought them back this year. As you know, Snowman, it's the 50th anniversary of the Spurs franchise. So this year, even though the team is very young and struggling right now on the floor, it's been a celebration of the 50 years. So throughout the entire season, I've had a chance to host a weekly podcast called Sound of Spurs, and I've had a chance to sit down with George the Iceman Gervin, James Silas, you name them. We've had all the guys come through, not all of them just yet, but I just visited with Kevin Willis last week, Terry Porter. I had a sit down for a half hour with George Karl the other night. A lot of people don't remember that George Karl was a player and a pretty good one out of North Carolina, and he played for the Spurs. He played for the Spurs in the old ABA, and the same day that I was visiting with George Karl about that, he informed me that he is doing a documentary on the ABA and the merger with the NBA from that 1976 season when the four teams from the ABA went to the NBA, the Nuggets, the Nets, the Spurs, and the Pacers. And, of course, the Spurs are the only team from the ABA to win a championship so far, although I really do think Denver's got a solid chance this year.
Yeah. Talk to me about that game in the Alamo Dome. How crazy was that?
Well, to be completely honest,
I texted you, I was hoping you had some time to come on, but I knew it was last minute.
It was crazy.
And the message I got back from you, it's today with us being in the Dome is crazy. I knew that game was nuts.
Well, you can imagine 68,000 people in a football stadium. They did not set the arena up the way they used to in the old Alamo Dome when the Spurs played there on a regular basis.
Right.
Of course, the court was much closer to the grandstand. Well, to get 68,000 people in, you're going to have to give up some viewing. I mean, there weren't a lot of great seats as far as, being able to see the action, to be very honest. In fact, Snowman, you'll love this because you're a broadcaster and a play-by-play guy. I was in the second row, and I couldn't see because I was not elevated. So, and the hard thing is, and you know this from doing play-by-play, you have to see the floor. So all I saw was a guy's torsos above the waist, and I had no idea where they were on the floor. So I spent, even though I was 10 feet from the action, I spent most of the game trying to call it off the monitor.
I dig it. I've been there, done that. The first time I did a state championship at Conseco Fieldhouse in Indianapolis when I was following Marquette Catholic, as you know, at the time in 2014, and they were running up and down the floor, and even though I was right there on the floor on press row, the action was so fast. I spent part of that game calling it from the monitor.
Yeah, you got to be ready.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And sometimes in these NBA arenas now, they've sold the courtside seats. So press row is really no longer press row. Press row is millionaires row. It's the people that got the money that can afford those courtside seats. And I don't really mind that too much, Snowman. They put me up in the concourse area in most of these places. And I called so many football games and so many baseball games that I'm kind of used to being upstairs, you know. So I prefer to be on the floor, to be honest with you. But being upstairs, as long as I've got plenty of room and can see the floor and can see the action, it's not a bad spot at all.
How loud was the Alamo Dome last Friday?
Well, you know, it's a shame the game wasn't very good. The Warriors blew the Spurs out in that game. So if the game had been a good competitive 4-quarter game, I think it would have gotten a little crazy. But it was very loud. And the loudest part of the night was early in the fourth quarter when they made the official announcement. And since it was the 50th season for the Spurs, it was only apropos that number 50, 5-0, the Admiral, David Robinson, came out with the big sign saying 68,323, a new NBA record.
Man, I watched parts of that game and I listened to your call, and I understand being way up in the stands. We shared a mic when we were in Charlotte a few years ago, when the Spurs came to Charlotte, and we're going to do it again. But man, when you're upstairs, and like I said, when you get used to it, you know, when you're calling football or baseball or whatever, you get used to the action. You get your eyes used to seeing the players from a distance and recognizing them from a distance. You've done this a while, so have I. The first couple of times the NBA changed press row and had people up in the stands, what was that like?
It wasn't too difficult for me because, again, I had done so many games. You know, my baseball background, I've done a lot of baseball games. In fact, during the offseason last year, I ended up doing, since we didn't make the playoffs and I was done in April, I was able to parlay that into about 24 college baseball games last year. And I hadn't done a lot of baseball in a while, and I kind of missed it, Snowman. You know, I really enjoyed being back in the booth and doing some baseball in the spring. Of course, the weather in Texas is very nice, so it was just nice to be outdoors. But it wasn't that major an adjustment for me. The thing I miss most about being on the floor is, and you know this too, you can see when guys are starting to elbow each other a little bit more, or if a ref and a player start to have a little yapping session going on, just little things like that. It gives you a heads up on, okay, the next time down the floor, if there's a hard foul, well, I think the previous trip down the floor, he's paying him back from something. And sometimes upstairs, you don't get that. You don't know. You don't see that little elbow in the ribs, you know? So, you know, it's a physical game, and these are, you know, grown men. So obviously there's a little bit different upstairs, but I'm kind of used to it by now.
Bill Schoening, the voice of the San Antonio Spurs, the fabulous voice of the San Antonio Spurs, joining us here on the program during hour two. Ryan McCarthy from Saratoga, New York, has a question for Bill. Other than the championship seasons, which season was your favorite to cover?
Oh, wow. That's a really good question. You know, so many of those championship seasons, right between them, they had good years and could have won the championship. And I remember 2004 being a great year. And the Lakers beat us with that .4 shot by Derek Fisher. It was heartbreaking. But that year had been a very good year. And then the 10-11 year, the Spurs had all kinds of records. They were the number one seed, and Ginobili got hurt in the first round. They lost to Memphis, and Memphis deserved to win that series. I'm not making excuses because Ginobili got hurt. But that season itself was an excellent season, but they just didn't play very well in that first round. They ran into Zach Randolph and Mike Conley and Marc Gasol and a pretty good Grizzlies team that had been hurt during the year. They really weren't a true 8th seed. They just happened to get the 8th seed because they had been banged up during the year. But that was a disappointing finish to a very good year.
Bill Schoening, the voice of the Spurs, joining me here on the program. Who'd you cover for baseball last spring?
I did UTSA and I did some Texas State. And they were both very good teams. Texas State really was a fine ball club, and they had a really good chance to make to the College World Series. I think they got eliminated, I want to say, by one of the schools out west. But anyway, they had a really good team, and a couple of breaks here, a couple of breaks there. They could have gone to the College World Series. But that was my roots. You know, I did Texas Longhorns for 12 baseball seasons. And before that, Sam Houston State for 6 seasons. So I've done a lot of college baseball. I was very fortunate enough too, Snowman. I don't know if you know this story, but 96, 97, 98, I was the backup guy for the Texas Rangers, even though I was still doing the Longhorns on Sundays in September because Brad Sham was on the Rangers network. He was still doing some NFL stuff. So when Brad had an NFL conflict, they'd fly me up, and I got to do a game at Yankee Stadium. I got to do some games out in San Diego, and I think I did about 18 Rangers games, which was really a lot of fun. But, man, those guys that go 162 a year plus spring training, that's a lot of baseball, my friend.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I have had dreams and thoughts of calling a full baseball season. I've had a chance to follow a couple of my good friends that do minor league baseball, and even 100 games is a lot
Yes,
with the preseason and everything. We're talking about 162 games. Whew, what a grind that is.
Yeah, plus a month or a month and a half down at training camp. You know, I mean, that's a lot of days at the ballpark. And I love the ballpark. I love going to the ballpark. But I think doing 82 as opposed to 162, I think I got the better gig.
Yeah. Yeah. Longtime voice of the Spurs, Bill Schoening, joining me here on the program. What's on tap for the Spurs this week?
Let's see here. We got a homestand, 2 more games in this homestand. Sacramento tonight, Philly on Friday. And then off to the rodeo road trip, Snowman. So you should have me on during the rodeo road trip for no other reason than to play one of my rodeo road trip songs. Because, you know, I write songs.
Yes.
And I've written 3 through the years about the rodeo road trip. My favorite's called Adios Auf Wiedersehen. It's all the different ways to say goodbye. Because when you're on the rodeo road trip, you're always saying goodbye to somebody because you're never in the same place very long. So the rodeo takes over our arena, and we're gone for 8 or 9 games every year.
How long is that trip? Because
it varies every season, but usually the All-Star break comes right in the middle of it. So it's not like 9 games in a row on the road. It'll be broken up usually into 3 games or 3 trips, like 3 games each trip. So that's usually how it is, 8 or 9 games. But it's basically most of the month of February.
Wow. Oh man, talk about travel packages. Need one for that.
The late Paul Silas gave me a tip one time. You know, we lost Paul just a few weeks ago. What a wonderful man he was. When he was coaching New Orleans, they were on a long road trip. And I asked him, I said, what's the toughest part about a 2-week road trip? He said, packing enough underwear. He's got a good point.
Oh man. Bill Schoening also is the author of Stories, Sports, and Songs. I'm going to purchase that. If I do it audibly, I'll purchase it audibly, but I am going to support in doing that. And plus, talk about your new podcast, The Sound of the Spurs.
Yeah, well, in conjunction with the 50th anniversary for the Spurs had the idea to do a series on both audio and video. They do a docuseries called Ring of the Row. It's about different stories in the 50-year history of the Spurs. They're doing 50 of them, believe it or not. And they're all these little 10-minute docuseries, little documentaries, mini documentaries. They're very well done by our director of broadcasting, Mike Ciccarello. And everybody is in this. I mean, LeBron James, Bill Walton, the list goes on and on about people who talk about the Spurs during this amazing docuseries that's out right now on YouTube. And I get to host this podcast called Sound of Spurs, where I get to interview, I mentioned earlier, some of these legends of the Spurs. And my favorite so far, well, of course, the Iceman is always going to be number 1. But Brent Barry is great. He's so funny. Of course, the son of the legendary Rick Barry. But Brent is fascinating to me because, Snowman, he has done so many different things in the game of basketball. Of course, he was a standout player. He won the Slam Dunk Championship, believe it or not, at the Alamo Dome in 1996.
At the Alamo Dome.
He also has been an announcer after his career. He worked for the NBA TV, did some analyst work both in the studio and on site at games. And then he moved into the front office, and now he's the Spurs vice president for basketball operations and the general manager of the Austin Spurs. So Brent's got a great basketball mind, and I enjoyed visiting with him. He's got a very good sense of humor, self-deprecating sense of humor. And I think he'll probably be a GM, if he wants to be, in the NBA one day.
Bill Schoening, the fabulous voice of the San Antonio Spurs, and one of my dearest friends joining me here. I will say this, and I'll put it to God's ears. I will see you February 15th in Charlotte, North Carolina, when the Spurs travel to meet the Charlotte Hornets.
We got you hooked up because you're showing your versatility as a good stat man there, Snowman. Not just a play-by-play guy and a talk show host, but a guy who could do stats. Hey, real quick story before I let you go, or before you let me go. I'm in New Orleans, right? I got a new stat guy, and he gives me a stat in the first quarter. 3 for 8. Spurs are 3 for 8, 33%. I said, look, I am not a mathematician. Believe me, I'm not a mathematical genius at all. but wouldn't 3 for 9 be 33%? And he said, "Oh, Bill, I'm sorry. I meant to tell you, I'm not good at math." I said, "You're my stat guy. I only need you to be good for one thing, math." And he's not good at math.
Right.
Snowman, you're better at math. You're better at math than my guy in New Orleans was.
It took me a quarter to get used to the pace of the game and the timeouts and how the broadcast went. But like I said, from my lips to God's ears and from Jody's lips to God's ears, we'll see you in Charlotte, North Carolina on February 15th, my friend.
I got you, my man.
I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you, Bill.
Okay. Thanks, brother.
Bill Schoening, the fabulous voice of the San Antonio Spurs, joining me this morning for a fabulous conversation. One more break, and then we got some general stuff to take care of. Back in the deuce.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
The original Think Drink is back. Level up with proven ingredients formulated to crush your competition. No gimmicks, no jitters, no messing around. Just high-potency results that keep you moving day or night. There's a new nerd in town, and we came to play. Nerd Focus. Smarter than energy.
Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, maybe even ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. That's when I found this, the Brux Night Guard. Now, the Brux Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brux Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Go to BruxNightGuard.com and order yours today.
I want to do a TED Talk, but I don't have anything to talk about yet. I'm getting there.
Life is for the living. We're not here that long.
You can learn anything you want to learn without any money spent.
What do I really enjoy? What do I really want out of life?
I am your host, WIZE.
Are you in a life holding pattern? Well, this is for you. Welcome to the Stuck in My Mind podcast.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the High Five Strangers guy. Game-winning interception. First down. Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.
'Cause we take this job so serious.
What in the all types of blue hell?
Yes, it's Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson.
What in the all types of blue hell? I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. Oh, man, 51 past the hour. We're on the verge of getting out of here for the day. Let me say hi to my buddy Rapid Dave from the Strikeout Beer podcast. Thank you, Dave, for checking in. I appreciate it. Dave razzed me on his podcast. He was paying homage to our show, and then I just see his eyes bug out, and he goes, "Man, he doesn't like LeBron." And I walked away and I started laughing. But honor to you, Rapid Dave, for joining the broadcast this morning. I appreciate you. Homage to you, Remy Yates, Ryan McCoffey, Better Truth Show, Wise El Jefe. Who else joined me? Victor Locke joined me this morning. My partner couldn't join me. He was snowed under by work. And Dan Levely joined this morning. And if someone can help with one more Cash App to help me get through the day, because I am disabled right now, that will be totally appreciated. Ryan McCoffey, I mentioned him. Drew Willingham, Ben Sutterth. All my rowdy friends join me this morning. Electrician 480, my good friend. Salute. Thank you very much, my man. Thank you very much. As I said, before we get out of here, if someone else can help with the Cash App to help get through the day, because I do have some things to take care of in terms of my family, that would be totally appreciated. Y'all know the story. I fought and beat pancreatic cancer through surgery. I am disabled right now. That's why I'm doing this show. That's one reason why I'm doing this show. 2, because I love it. And 3, I know I'm sitting on at least $1 billion when everything goes right. But I do need some help. And not just for me, but for my family. That's why I put the Cash App up there. That's why I ask y'all to join the Patreon. And please join the Patreon, because I do have some behind the scene footage I'm going to start posting there. And matter of fact, let me post it right now. You see the Cash App, that will help me daily. If you all can join the Patreon right here, patreon.com/SDM Sports Radio Network, and join monthly, that will be absolutely awesome as well. Like I said, trying to build an income while disabled and while recovering from cancer and waiting for that all-important call from my doctor and my team. And I got to say goodbye to Attila Nakib, because he's leaving Indiana University. And let me shout him out. Attila Nakib is the reason I'm here. One of the reasons I'm here, because after a scan, he took a look at the tumor that I had on my left side of my abdomen, and he said, we'll get it for you. We'll get it out for you. I said, what? And as soon as he said, yes, we will get it through we will get through surgery. We would get it through surgery. And he did. He did. Thank you to Electrician 480 for the $20 Cash App. I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all so much. And they had the surgery April 4th. I've been cancer-free ever since. I do have a couple difficulties with my stomach. I do have some spots on the liver. They don't think it's cancer. They think it's something else. Spots on the retina, which are healing right now. That came because of the diabetes. But there's a whole lot of healing that's going on right now. And I know I do this a lot, but let me shout out the one person who put this all in motion, and that's my wife, Jody. When we found out I had pancreatic cancer and I was taking oral chemotherapy at the time, I couldn't think straight. I was doing some dumb things that I don't usually do. Straight up, there's some of the things I did that I don't usually do. And I didn't realize how fogged up I was because of the chemo. I've had people tell me, even whether you sit in a room for 4 hours or you take it orally, chemo will mess your brain up. I didn't believe him. I do now. And we had to make a decision in October of 2021. And Halloween night, we packed up and we drove up here to Indiana, stayed with my in-laws for a while, met the people at IU and Franciscan Health First. Dr. Raghunath, let me shout him out. Dr. Raghunath was very key in making the call to Attila Nakib. And when Nakib took a look at it, he said, we'll get it for you. And they did. Had the surgery. I remember waking up about 6:15 that night. I saw my wife, I saw my in-laws, and I said, I'm good. And I went back to sleep. I went back to sleep. And since then, it's been a fight and a half. I've done baseball with UNCG, hope to do so again. And this time live in person. That's why I'm asking for as many Cash Apps as I can and many members of the Patreon as I can, because I want us to go back home. If not for a couple of seasons, have it be a stop where I can stack up some money, take care of my wife, take care of my family, and then we can move west. But I feel in my heart there's some opportunity in North Carolina for both of us. And if there isn't, we'll just pack up and drive west, and be done. But there's so much that Jody and I want to do. And I'll say it again, we need your help to not just get through it daily, but to get through it weekly and to get through it monthly. And that's why I'm pushing this as hard as I can. Because I want to be able to take care of my family. They mean the world to me. Jody, I can't say enough about Jody K. I cannot say enough about Dr. K. Because she saved me now on 2 occasions. The first one was coming into my life in 2018, and the second one was deciding to move us up here to Indiana to battle cancer. And that's when we met my surgical team, my cancer team, and my medical team. And they all came together. Excuse me. They all came together. The tumor is gone. And I'm getting better. I'm learning how to eat where I don't eat so much, especially bad food where I'm running to the bathroom all afternoon. But Jody's the main reason I'm here. Because had we stayed in North Carolina with them telling us basically get your affairs in order, I wouldn't be here. So to my beautiful bride, Jody, I love you, baby. I love you so much. You are the reason I'm here. You are the reason for everything. You are the reason that I keep fighting as much and as hard as I can. And though I have had moments where I wanted to quit, you wouldn't let me quit. Nor with Cheyenne, nor with Sonia, nor with Dakota, nor with the grandkids. I love you, Jody. Jody, you are my reason for everything, and I mean that. I mean that with all my heart. You are my reason for everything. I mean, you've heard her voice during the intro. I wouldn't have this any other way. Because now it's time for us to not only survive, but thrive. And we need you guys. We definitely, we need you guys. I'll be here on time on a daily basis to bring you the sports talk that you want to hear, to bring you the sports talk that you need. Because unlike other sports shows, we tell the truth here on Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. We absolutely tell the truth, and we absolutely call it like we see it, and we remain objective with everything. Let me salute you guys in the chat. Electrician 480, Victor Locke, The Hawk TV, Ryan McCoffey, Rapid Dave, 2Trip211, who dropped a cash app earlier. Thank you for that. Remy Yates, Bitter Truth Show, Wise El Jefe, who is safely back home. I'm glad you're back home safe, brother. Rod West was here. Dan Levely was here. Drew Willingham was here. I'll be with him at 1:05 this afternoon for the Sports Senseis episode 7. And I got to get the link out for that. But thank you guys so very much for tuning in and chiming in and livening up the chat this morning. I cannot thank you guys enough for all of this. I cannot thank you all enough. All right. Time is up and time for me to get out of here. Have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, then they are not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. We are, and we hope you all are too. Sports Senseis at 1:05, and then I'm back at 3:05 with the Brian Snow Show and the Brian Snow Podcast. I'm out of here for now. See you tomorrow. Don't forget, Bronze Sexual Confessions tomorrow. See you then.